pain. We keep it so mellow that we speaking your refrain. Adam Story's got a point if you let him explain. It's the pun of all puns, get a plan with Papa Wayne. Rum tapping the vein, and 9 minutes bringing pain. MHOG secreting, leaving a stain. You ain't as dope as us, bitch. Stay in your lane.
And welcome back to the Metal Hand of God podcast. I am your host Wayne, and over there is my brother in something.
I'm Adam.
That's right. But anyway, yeah, Rum Guy's not with us today. He's at home resting. He had a long day today. So what's going on, dude?
Oh, a lot behind the scenes stuff, but Rum's actually not resting. He had a neurologist appointment, and it was the only neurologist that would take his insurance was something like 3 hours away.
Right, but the reason I just said he was resting, so it wouldn't be like we telling Rum's shit over the thing. That's all.
I mean, I don't think that's anything private. I mean, it's people know he had a very unfortunate accident that he was lucky to survive, and he's getting the care he needs, but because insurance is one of the worst industries in the world,
yes,
especially medical insurance, he had to go, I want to say out of state.
That sucks, man.
Or something like that. I don't remember exactly. But yeah, he wasn't going to make it back in time, and he probably will be resting as soon as he gets home.
Yeah. It's a long fucking drive, man.
Yeah. So, yeah, but everybody else is relatively well, I think.
Yeah, I got some I mean, I knew prior to this, I didn't tell anybody yet because he didn't announce any of this stuff, but friend of the show, Billy Pond, has stage 4 cancer, and he's having his second big chemo treatment this week. He announced it on Facebook today. Was the first time he's said anything since he was diagnosed, which was probably a couple months ago. So,
oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But the doctor did say that what he has is treatable, so it's just going to take a lot out of him. So hopefully it's good,
Well, Billy, I wish you the best. On the bright side, you'll probably lose some weight.
Yeah, true. He already has. He's posted a picture of himself, and he's awfully smaller. And on top of that, he said he's losing his hair, and he's like, I just really hope it grows back.
Oh, come on, Billy. Don't be a pussy. Like,
That's
you know what? I mean, so your hair fell out. Okay, you still got your dick. Your dick didn't fall off. You're good.
Much agreed.
And maybe your dick hair will fall off, and like women will look at it and be like, "Oh man, he's smooth as a baby's cock." And I mean, it's not always a positive reference, but
that was wrong, man. Smooth as a baby's cock.
Babies have smooth cocks.
Okay.
I'm not saying you should want to touch them. I'm just saying they do. I mean, is that false in any way, shape, or form?
I have no idea.
You have a baby.
I don't touch it.
You do, actually. You have to clean him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I don't like sit there and examine and go, oh man, my son's cock is smooth.
Hey, you know what? Don't bullshit me, okay? You've had to touch your son's dick. You might not like it, but don't pretend like you don't know what's going on when you're touching it, okay? No one's calling you a fag. No one's saying, like, oh, he likes touching his baby's dick. We're just saying you touch babies' dicks and, like, you know what's going on.
I get it. I understand what you're saying. All right. But no. I'm going to fight you on that. I don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know?
Well, he knows what's going on.
He does.
Anyway, but I'm very sorry to hear that Billy
Yeah,
is
man, it
ill.
sucked.
I don't know him nearly as well as you do, but he
Right.
was a very nice man, and he worked hard to achieve his dreams, and I would like to see him live longer to make more films that I unfortunately won't watch because, sorry, Billy, I don't watch fucking horror movies, but, but I'm happy that you make them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you support him in certain ways. You may not watch his films, but you still help promote him.
So that was depressing.
Yeah, sorry. I mean,
Speaking
when we
of,
were talking about that, it just hit me because that's me and Ryan. We're talking about that Ryan Clapp, one of the guys from the clown movie, and we were talking about that, and I just remembered the conversation today, so I was like, oh, I'll bring it up since he finally said it on Facebook, made the announcement.
yeah, yeah. I guess this isn't your fault, but your timing was weird, though. I kind of thought you were going to go in the other direction. When you mentioned Billy Pond,
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say Billy Pond's actually going to go to the 500th episode of the Metal Hand of God podcast.
I really wish he would. That'd be really cool. But yeah, no, I went the opposite way. That
Yeah.
sucks. Sorry. But yeah, so we do have that coming up, and that's like in a few days. So that'll be fun. Something I'm looking forward to doing.
In other depressing news,
Yes.
so I don't
Welcome to
generally.
the press cast, guys.
I don't actually. I've never liked talking about local things because I'm not really interested. I was never interested in being a quote unquote New Orleans podcast. And no offense to the people
Right.
who do that, because pretty much every podcast that I've run across in the New Orleans area, that's what they want to be. And that was fine. No offense.
A lot of people really, how you call it, push for the New Orleans scene. I mean, not that we don't, but we're not.
I don't.
We're not
Look. I don't have
specified.
anything against it. I don't. Again, I'm not. I'm not looking down on the people who do that. I've never liked talking about local stuff because I don't like the idea that you're just like a local show. But
Right.
something happened this past weekend that I think merits talking about.
No, I agree. I think I know what you're talking about.
And I found out about it relatively late. I found out about it 2 a.m. on Monday. But
Really?
yeah, Paul Underwood posted about it, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Wait, what's
I
going
actually
on?"
have the news article if you want to see that too.
I mean, I saw people screen capture of it, but so basically, folks, so we a venue that we've dealt with we haven't dealt with them in a while, but we know them. Southport Hall had a show with what was the name of the Iron Maiden tribute band?
It was Maiden Immortal.
Maiden Immortal and a local band called Southern Brutality
Right.
had a show. I think it was Friday. It was Friday,
Yeah, it was Friday night.
and someone decided to make a fake flyer that I don't remember exactly what it said, but essentially the flyer was suggesting that this show was for whites only and that they were a white supremacist band.
The flyer actually had a swastika on the front, and it did literally say "whites only" on it, and it had the band's name and then the venue's name on it. It was pretty much all it said.
And it was one of the most amateur looking flyers I've ever seen in my life. It was literally like a white flyer with just the only decoration on it was the swastika.
Right.
I mean, it's something you could do on a typewriter, basically.
Pretty much.
And this was put in a neighborhood nearby that was well known to be predominantly black. So
Now, see, I didn't know where it was put. Like, I had no idea where the flyer was.
It's an area called Pigeon Town.
Okay.
Now, from what I understand from people on the inside, initially when Southport heard about it, they were like, "Did you hear about this shit? Like, look at this fucking stupid shit." But then quickly they realized, oh, this isn't just some joke that shouldn't have been made, this is going to go bad.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it went bad very quickly because a local news network that has both TV and radio, WWL, posted the flyer on the internet without any... they made no attempt to contact Southport or either of the bands. They ran with it as if this was 100% fact, and it got a lot of attention from it. Like, it didn't catch my attention, but...
no, you got a lot of heat, though. It was all over the fucking place.
So Southport had to hire quite a lot of police officers for security detail because they couldn't be certain that somebody wasn't going to go there and shoot up the place or firebomb it or whatever. And unfortunately, that's going to be the case going forward. They're going to have to take a lot more security measures and are probably going to lose acts because the way the internet works is you post something and it's just there. Even if you retract it, it never gets as much attention as the initial accusation. That's why it's so easy to call someone a rapist or a racist. It wasn't supposed to rhyme, but it's why it's so easy to do it, because people just believe it and they'll spread it like wildfire. And then when the truth comes out that the person's not a racist or someone who rapes people, no one pays that much attention. They're just like, oh, okay, whatever, and it's forgotten about, except it's not. In the back of your head, you still think of the person or the place as being white supremacists or what have you.
Right.
These are people's jobs. These are people's lives. And we're living in an age where... there's a guy named Steven Crowder that I don't watch every episode of his show or listen to every episode, but he's somewhat famous now as like sort of a conservative comedian, and he does these. He's big on YouTube, and he does these. That's not what pieces called "Change My Mind." That they actually made a meme out of it. It's very famous. It'll say like he'll do something like. Gun control is bad, change my mind, or whatever.
Oh, the guy sitting in the desk with the little sign in front of him?
Yes, and people cover up what he says, and it'll say like, Pikachu is better than Squirtle, change my mind. Or something. Right. It became a meme. But on a couple of occasions, he's had instances where someone found out that he was doing... Now, these change my mind segments are pretty brilliant, because basically what he does is he sets up a booth. He puts out, like, this is what I believe, change my mind, and then he, without editing at all, he airs the full segment of whoever he's talking to arguing with him about whatever subject it is. So they get to say anything they want to say. It's completely unedited. And nothing horrible happens to the person. If a crowd gathers, because often a crowd gathers, a lot of times it's supporters of his, if they start to shout the person down, he'll stop them. He'll say, nope, that's not what we're here for. Let them. I disagree with this person, but let them speak. Let him or her speak, or Z or Zay, whatever, speak their mind. And on a couple of occasions, when people found out about it, he's had some far left nut jobs suggesting to firebomb his van, a few other things, but actual threats of violence. And that's kind of where we live in. Something like this, like, yeah, okay. The supporters of Southport know that they're not having which, by the way, let's be clear. 90% of metal fans are white. So the idea that someone's going to put up a white, like whites only, plus from what I understand, Southern Brutality used to have a black drummer. So
yeah, they did. Yeah. So, Levi used to play drums for him.
So everyone who's in the know knows that this isn't true. But that just leaves, what? 800,000 other people in every direction. I don't know how many people live in the greater New Orleans area. I'm bad with these numbers.
I forget. I looked that up recently, and I don't even fucking remember what it was.
But that leaves a lot of people who don't know. And look, all it takes is 10 people out of a million to set a building on fire or shoot somebody, and you have a disaster. So this isn't funny. And they don't know. They don't know if the person thought it was a joke. They don't know if it was a band, or they don't know if it was another venue. And they also don't know because they had a previous incident where a band that's now defunct because of it had made their own joke about gays need not apply for a show they were playing. And it was a big thing. It was a joke. It wasn't a particularly funny joke. And it was definitely something that they were stupid for even thinking they should do. But it was a joke, but that turned into a whole thing. So it could have been, because the venue, Southport, got a lot of flack for that, even though, again, the venue, Southport, had nothing to do with that joke either.
No, nothing.
They didn't know about it. They saw it, and they were like, whatever. But it could be somebody who was pissed off about that, because that's the thing. Like, we live in an age where if you're accused of anything, like, you're accused of being a racist, you must be a homophobe, you must be, not that this is a bad thing, but you must be a Trump supporter, you must be a Christian, it all gets lumped together. If you're one thing, one of these things, you're all of these things. Even though Christian and Republican should not be considered an equal to racist or homophobe, but again, that's the day and age we live in. So it's pretty horrifying, and people's lives are affected. Their money is definitely going to be affected.
Oh yeah.
People have their weddings at this place.
Yeah, it's not just a concert venue. It's like weddings. They're like big groups. What is it? Toth, the parade. They have their giant meetings there and stuff. There's like a bunch of different groups that do special events and things at this building. It's not just a concert venue. It's not like the House of Blues, where the House of Blues is mainly just concerts.
And from what I understand, WWL took down the post, but it doesn't matter. It's the internet. It's on there. People
right, it's there forever.
People have shared it, and and there were all kinds of in the WWL post. There were all kinds of people making ignorant comments, saying, "Oh well, if they get shot up, they deserve what they get." Which, look. I make jokes all the time about being racist, and I'm not pretending that I'm not on some level. But no matter how bad a person you are, if you don't hurt another human being, you don't deserve to be injured or killed. And even if you're there's a lot of black supremacists out there that nobody talks about. There's probably more black supremacists than there are white supremacists at this point. I don't have a problem with that. I don't think they should be chained up or shot or anything like that. They have a belief. They might dislike, people like us. But are they hurting anyone? I mean, they're spreading hate, but they're not hurting anyone just because they have these beliefs.
Right.
And it's pretty horrifying, and it's just the way society's going, and it's a shame. And I'm not, we don't have anything to do with this venue. We haven't had a show there in
quite some time,
4 years or whatever. But
my band played there. Yeah, my band played there a couple times. But
fair enough. I mean, but you didn't put on that show. You just played it. You were asked to play it. But either way, I don't have any skin in the game, but they don't deserve it, and it's a real shame. And from what I understand, the police aren't even doing much to investigate. They offered I think it was the last one I saw was like a $3,500 reward leading to whoever found it.
Yeah, it started out as $1,000 reward. Then Southport upped it to I think they upped
it to $2,000 at one point, and then now it's $30,000. Well, it might have gone up since then.
Some other promotion or guys who do events there actually threw in another $1,000 or something like that to find information on the person. Believe me, motherfuckers, if one of y'all tells me who that is, that you did it, I am going to fucking tell them, because that's $3,500 I could use. Just saying.
I don't think anyone's going to volunteer that information to you, but
I don't either, but I'm just letting you know right off the back.
So it's like I said, I'm not big into talking like local stuff, but I think this goes beyond just local.
It's just pretty shitty, in all aspects. Even though if it started out as just being a stupid fucking joke, it was really fucking stupid.
I have a hard time believing it was just a joke, though.
I don't think it was either. I'm just giving them the benefit of the doubt, man.
It's one of those things where this is kind of a silly thing to say, but I feel like I hope more that it was just some ignorant piece of shit that was mad about the gay thing.
Yeah.
Because the alternative is that it was like a venue or a band, and that's not... It's morally maybe a little less problematic, but it's certainly more petty, and I don't know if that's making a lot of sense. My point is that
you just hope it's somebody that it's some ignorant fuck instead of somebody that was like really trying to hold a grudge against someone and being that, shitty about something and really trying to fuck somebody over.
More or less. That's basically what I'm trying to say. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It just, to me, like the thought that it could be like a venue that's just like, we don't like them and we want their business or whatever. That's a little more horrifying because, again, this isn't just a joke. Hopefully nothing ever happens as a result of it. Hopefully eventually this goes away. It won't, but but maybe they can kind of put it in the past.
Yeah.
But something could happen, and if it was just as simple as, hey, we just don't like them, that's really fucking sad and pathetic.
Yeah, man, it's just dumb. I mean, just think about it, man. If it was a show that we put on and some asshole did that to us, I mean, that would be fucking horrifying.
Well, it'd be a little more difficult to argue with. I've said a few things that
doesn't matter, man. Everybody knows. Anybody who knows us knows. And
that's not how that works, though.
But no, I understand that. But what I'm saying is, when someone does that, I mean, you could fight the point with Southern Brutality. They had to post a whole thing about one of their songs because in the song it says "Seek Hell," like SEEKHELL.
Yeah,
and it sounds like "Seek Heil."
Oh, so, that's fucking stupid, though.
I know, but people brought that up. And they were saying maybe it was against them because of that, and because the singer's kind of alt-righty kind of feeling, but who knows? I mean, who knows the reasons why they did that? But I'm just saying, that shit could have happened to one of our shows, and it would be really fucking shitty.
Well, on the other hand, that would mean a lot of people showed up, so
True.
I mean, they'd have to, pay the doorman to shoot up the place. So
no, they could just shoot him.
Well, that would just be rude.
Right, I know. What did the door dude do? Right? Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah. So a lot of depressing things happening.
Yeah, it's not really exciting, man. Like, that's terrible. So fucking terrible.
Yeah. But that's the way it is. I was watching last night on, actually I did see a couple of videos. Ben Shapiro, someone that I follow regularly, he did a speech at, I guess, some university in Michigan.
Yeah.
And some fucking lame-ass left-wing student group decided to protest, and they started off chanting, this mob, "Fuck Ben Shapiro" over and over, which, I mean, okay, who cares? I mean, his response was, "Sorry guys, I'm married. Thanks for the offer." There was this one guy, it was funny, like, they were like, "Fuck Ben Shapiro, fuck Ben Shapiro." And there was this one guy that was like, "This isn't rhythmic enough." So they would yell, "Fuck Ben Shapiro," and he would go, "Woo." So it would be like, "Fuck Ben Shapiro, woo, fuck Ben Shapiro, woo." And it was like, what? Is that important to you to make it more like...
That's pretty fucking stupid.
But then when they got to they weren't let in because they didn't pay to get into the event. So they got up to like the doors of the room, and they were chanting as loud as they could. They first started chanting Ronald Reagan's dead over and over again, and then at some point they started chanting John McCain's dead. Again, as a matter of protest. Which, two things. Number one, everyone in the room with Ben Shapiro was well aware that both Ronald Reagan and John McCain are dead. This isn't
Right.
news. Two,
Not surprised there, guys.
Two, I guess this is supposed to celebrate the fact that these men are dead, or maybe it's just to. I guess maybe it's supposed to suggest that like your movement is over because these men are dead, which is weird because John McCain would hardly be considered the leader of the conservative movement.
Right.
But yeah, but just like I said, horrible. Like, and nothing bad happened in there. He wasn't like. He's a little mousy Jew dude. Well, I guess mousy is the wrong word. Like, he's pretty arrogant, but he's just a little Jewish dude who speaks his mind and never calls for violence. Like nothing. But these people were quite threatening.
But that's the whole new thing, man. It's like, oh, we're doing a peaceful protest, but it's not really peaceful. It seems like it's any second. It's like somebody can like you guys are the gas, and if somebody dropped a match, you fucking guys would explode and beat the shit out of everybody or do something fucking crazy. You know? To
be fair, it technically was peaceful. It was it was unpleasant and un-American what they did, but compared to say last week, I don't know if you're familiar with the Tucker Carlson, but he's a Fox News host. Someone found out his house, his address, and mobbed his house and tried to kick down the door while his wife was home alone.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, she had to hide in a closet and call the police. And
that's fucking crazy, man.
And what's really disturbing is all the people on social media that were like, well, they didn't really threaten her with violence.
Really? You're banging on the fucking door to kick it in? That's not violent?
Yeah, so
people really have a fucking weird way of describing violence, you know, like to interpret what violence is.
Well, I mean, they didn't hit her, but there's certainly an implied threat of violence when you're basically trying to knock down the door. Also, just the fact that if you show up to my address because you don't agree with my politics, I'm going to go ahead and take that as a threat. And if I have a weapon, I'm going to use it.
Well, I mean, excuse me, long day. What I mean, I was like, you know, but it's a violent act, you know, like if you're fucking kicking a door, that's still a violent act. You can't kick a door nicely. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But that's the way the world is lately.
Fucking strange, dude. You know, just I was talking to Paul at work, and we were talking about music and how it's changed over the years, you know, and how just 20 years ago, how rock and stuff was, you know, more in the forefront, and now things have faded. That's 20 years ago. And I was thinking the same thing with like how people act, you know, it's kind of like, it's just the strangest thing, man. Like people think that, you know, kicking the door down and doing things like that it's not violent. We weren't threatening the lady, you know, we were just beating the house. No, the woman was in her house cowering in a closet.
Well, here's the thing. They're not actually saying that it wasn't violent. What they're really implying is that it doesn't matter. The problem is that, and this is what political correctness is. It's a marketing term. Political correctness is redefining something by redefining what you say. Meaning, the United States government was like, oh, we're they're not black people anymore. They're African Americans. Because it sounds sort of more, in a weird way, sounds more pleasant. I've never understood what's wrong with just black or Italian or whatever.
I honestly, in my opinion, being the ignorant white guy I am, I honestly think African American sounds more shitty to me than just saying I'm black or white.
You're saying it sounds patronizing.
Yeah. There's
a reason for that. It's because it is. It's like I said, like it's saying like, oh, we don't have problems with black people anymore. They're African Americans now. Like it's redefining the problem by just changing the name,
like channeling it to something else.
Right.
Yeah.
It's marketing. We do people do the same thing with a lot of things. Like there's a young woman that won the New York Congress. Yeah, she's a congressman now. Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez. She calls herself, and Bernie Sanders also called himself, democratic socialists.
Okay.
Well, we're not socialists. We're democratic socialists. Democratic socialism is socialism. If you and I voted to take everything from Rum,
yeah,
we'd still be stealing from him. It would
correct.
It would still be violating his rights. It doesn't matter if you vote to take shit from other people. You're still doing it. It's still socialism.
Right.
But it's redefining the problem. And they do the same thing with violence. When you hear people saying, well, words are violence, there's a reason that, most of the people that are saying this don't actually know what they're saying. They're not particularly smart. But the people in charge do. The reason they're saying words are violence is because once you start saying words of violence, when someone uses those words, they're being violent towards you. They're attacking you. Well, if they're attacking you, you have a right to defend yourself. When you say, you'll hear people making these speeches where they're literally killing us. They're not literally killing you. They're not figuratively killing you. But when you say they're literally killing us, someone out there is like, man, they're killing us. We got to kill them first. It justifies when they accuse you of violence through their means. It justifies their violence. See, it doesn't matter if Tucker Carlson's wife, whose name I don't even know, if she never did anything, if she didn't, fair enough. It doesn't matter if she didn't do anything. Her husband's literally killing people with his words. So she married this Nazi. Well, if you're married to a Nazi, you deserve what you get. Nazis should be killed, right? That's why they're calling people Nazis. Because Nazis are, quote unquote, the most evil people who ever existed. Now, I'm not a fan of Nazis, but the communists have killed far, far, far more people. Like, it's not even in the same fucking ballpark than Nazis. But for some reason, it's okay to say you're a socialist. So it's okay to say you're a communist. That's okay, even though, again, they killed more people.
Right.
But yeah, that's what all this is. It's redefining the term. See, she deserves what she gets. Like, they didn't do anything to her. She's lucky they didn't. She's married to Tucker Carlson. He's basically a Nazi. If something had happened to her, I'm not saying I want something to happen to her, but if something had happened to her,
she'd deserve it, right?
She'd deserve it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And that's how a society falls apart.
I see the logic in that.
Well, that's sort of the problem with logic, is that it doesn't really mean you're right. It just means you have a good argument.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts, dude. Oh man, have you seen the meme thing going around of Trump bald-headed with a beard?
Yeah, so somebody posted that the other day. I didn't really get it.
I don't really know what it's for, but a lot of people are just saying that Trump should go ahead and do that because he looks more badass like that.
That is what the person said. Here's the thing. You don't know that Trump can really grow a beard. I can't. I tend to go for a more 5 o'clock. Like right now, I need a shave. I try to go more for a 5 o'clock shadow because I can't grow a beard. I wish I could.
You can't grow a beard at all.
At all. I don't know if it's a lack of testosterone or just some weird genetic disposition.
I honestly think, I mean, this is no shit on anybody else, but honestly, I had 2 other Asian friends, and neither one of them could grow beards either. I think it's something in the genes. Like they couldn't grow full beards. You know what I'm saying? That like
my little brother can grow a beard. I don't know. It's. I'm sure it's genetic one way or the other. But my point is that like, just because somebody can Photoshop a beard and a cool bald head on Trump doesn't mean that's what he actually looks like. If
right.
He might have a weirdly fucking shaped head. You don't know. Maybe there's like a big dent down the middle.
You might be right. It might be a dented head. Maybe that's why the swoop is over there, you know? He combs it over there so you don't see the indention.
That wouldn't be good, because then people would say, see, he is a butthead. I saw one of the comedians who did my Gnarly Barley show, Isaac Cozell, apparently the night before had done some sort of worldwide pun championship.
Nice.
And I forget what it was called, but I guess he won, and he was giving his his congratulatory speech. And I was like, oh, this isn't fair. The Rum Guy would have fucking killed all of y'all.
I have to agree with you on that. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, man, why wasn't the Rum Guy invited?
Because they're pussies. Because they're afraid of a real competition.
I have to agree with you.
I have no idea who was involved with it. I'm just, but I was like, I'd like to see that. Come on, Rum Guy. Maybe that's his future. Maybe he needs to stop doing construction shit and handyman shit and start the
pun guy for real.
Winning pun championships. I mean, there's a belt involved. I don't know if there's any cash, but maybe you could hawk the belt for $30 and a stick of Hubba Bubba.
Wait, there's a belt involved?
I think there was a belt involved. I'm pretty sure.
Holy shit.
I'm sure it wasn't a nice one, but
but still, that's pretty good. I would go for a belt.
Do you want me to get you a belt? They're on sale. Black Friday's coming up.
Yeah, man, I'd appreciate that.
What size waist do you have?
A 40.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
I'm at like 48.
Really? I would have never guessed that.
Yeah.
Never in a million years, man. Like I have another friend, our friend Chris Rochford. He also told me, like he weighed so much and he couldn't wear like a 2 or 3X shirt. And I'm like, you're fucking kidding me, dude. You don't look like you would be that big, you know, but obviously he is, you know. It's kind of crazy.
I wear a 3X.
Like he said, yeah, that's what he has to wear as a 3X, like to fit comfortable. And I'm like, man, that's crazy. I would never have guessed that. Never. And same with you. I would have never guessed. I would have swore you could have wore a 2X like I do.
I used to, not long ago. But, you know.
You used to be a little boy.
No, I was never little.
Yeah, me neither, man. I was always a big kid.
Wow. So anyway, seen any movies, anything like that?
Wait, what? Say that? I'm sorry.
Seen any good movies lately?
No, I haven't watched anything lately. I did finally watch the recently I watched just Walking Dead crap that I've been catching up on, and other than that, dude, all I've been watching honestly is fucking kid programs because, you know, I have a kid and all he wants to do is watch TV. You know, like certain shows, of course. And it was okay the other day because he said he wanted to come out and sit with me and watch TV. So I was like, all right. But I said, I'm watching something scary, okay? And he was like, okay, that's fine. So he sits next to me on the couch. This was last night because he didn't want to go to sleep. So he sits next to me on the couch and I'm watching The Walking Dead. And he's like, Dad? I said, what? He goes, I like scary stuff. I said, okay, kid, that's cool. You know, I was like, all right, that's fine. Whatever. You like it. And then when the show got over, he looked at me and said, Dad, can we watch Bob's Burgers? I couldn't argue with him, dude. I was like, all right, let me see if I can find it. So I had to hunt that down and watch Bob's Burgers last night till he fell asleep. But that was okay. But that's what I've been watching, man. I haven't had any like good film experiences in it quite a bit. Like I really want to go see. I wanted to see the Halloween movie. I didn't get the chance to see that. There's a few things on, was it Redbox, that I want to go check out that I've been waiting to see. What about you? Anything you've seen? Anything or any TV or anything like that that I could go and check out?
I'm trying to think of what movies I've seen recently. What was the last one I saw? It was something interesting. I can't remember. It's been a little bit, a few weeks. I'm looking forward to this week. The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Yes, I want to see that so fucking bad.
Now somebody was telling me that some of the reviews coming out are pretty mixed, and I'm hoping it's not for the reasons that I think it might be, which is that there was some implication that there might be some political.
Oh no!
Yeah, Johnny Depp said something, and I was like, normally I would just go like, it's an actor. He's just running his mouth and trying to make it out to be something that it's not. But J.K. Rowling wrote it, and she is known for her little political diatribes as well. So I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping that she had enough sense to go like, this is for everybody. It's not just for whatever. So there's that, but I'm probably not going to be able to see that until next week because Friday I definitely can't go because Kyle's Inquisitor's Observations is going to be that night. So I'm going to that, and then obviously Saturday we have a show. So one thing I am going to see that I probably wouldn't have spent the money because it looks cute, but you know. Like it's time. It's honestly, it's time more than money as to why I don't see that many movies. Because I really want to see A Star Is Born, but I just haven't gotten around to it. But
which one is that? Which one is A Star Is Born? I do remember the I heard the commercial, but I don't remember exactly what it's for.
Okay, so A Star Is Born is I think it was a musical, and they made a movie version. I don't know, 40 years ago. But it stars Bradley Cooper as this, I think he's supposed to be a country musician who discovers Lady Gaga, and it's...
Oh, yeah, I did see. Okay, yeah. That does look really good.
It looks good. I've heard good things about it, and the music sounds really good from the trailers. So I definitely wanted to see it, but I just haven't gotten around to it. It's still in theaters. I may try again. But I did get, I was saying a second ago, a free ticket to a movie that I probably wouldn't have spent the money. It looks cute, but again, like time, money, blah, blah, blah. But it's called Instant Family. It stars Mark Wahlberg, and I can't think of the name of the chick, but they play a couple who adopts these 3 kids. And the reason I had heard about it is because I'm a big fan of Tom Segura, who's a comedian, and he, on his Instagram, gave away a bunch of free tickets through Adam Tickets. And
no wonder you got some.
Yeah, so I saw the code, and I was like... And he only had like 200 of them, so... But I guess, unfortunately, not a lot of people on Tom Segura's... Which I understand, because this type of comedy isn't the same as, like, cute Mark Wahlberg rom-com.
Right.
You know, so, yeah. But I was like, why not? Like, it looks cute, and like, it's about 3 kids who get adopted and find a family, and I'm like, that tugs at my heartstrings, and I want to see things like that. Yeah,
it does look like a nice film.
It doesn't look hysterical, but it looks like a sweet film that I don't mind devoting an hour and a half to tomorrow. It's tomorrow night.
Oh, that'll be all right, dude.
So, but yeah, and there's a couple movies coming out. There's that Spider-Man cartoon movie.
That looks really good.
Yeah, although the advertising on it's weird, and I suspected that this was going to be the case when they announced the title was Into the Spider-Verse, but if the first trailers made it seem like, oh, this is going to focus on Miles Morales, which I'm fine with. I unlike a lot of Marvel's diversity characters, I don't really have a problem with Miles Morales because they've never intended him to replace Peter Parker, and he was kind of the first character in that vein. you know, he kind of kicked it off, and they started doing more and more after him. But you know, whatever. But then they introduced Peter Parker, and I was like, okay, it's going to be about Peter Parker training Miles Morales to be Spider-Man. I'm like, okay, cool. And then they show Spider-Gwen, which is a character you'd only know if you read comics, and you don't need to know.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so I guess that's the Spider-Verse, and now there's Spider-Hams in it, Spider-Man Noir. So I'm like, okay, so this isn't really about Miles Morales. Like, this is a Spider-Verse film. Why?
Right. It's just like let's just throw every fucking Spider-Man creature in the fucking cartoon.
Well, I'm fine with that, but advertise it that way. Everything,
right.
Like the way they've gone about this advertising and this marketing for this movie have been bizarre. You know, like the first full trailer had like all those bits about like his dad is hard on him and expects him to be an upstanding citizen, and you know, makes him say "I love you" and all that. And then it's like, oh, Peter Parker's eating a cheeseburger with dirty hands or some shit. You know, like what? I don't know. So it's pretty odd, but the movie still looks really good, and I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, I like the previews for it. It looks decent. I'd check it out. The other film that I want to watch, as I don't know if you saw the previews. It's something called, I think it's not Warlord. It's
Overlord.
called Overlord. Yeah. You saw the previews for that, huh?
I know quite a bit about Overlord.
Do you?
Well, it's been talked about for the last year and a half, maybe a little longer than that, because I think they might have cut it out of this, but it was intended to be the next movie in the Cloverfield universe.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, so basically this is how Cloverfield worked. There was the original Cloverfield movie like 10 years ago.
Right.
Good film. A lot of people didn't like it. I enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. You know, a lot of people were like, oh, it made me want to throw up. I was like, oh, that's fine. But the part where they kind of lean over the building that's about to fall and they look down, that kind of fucked with me. Yeah. But, you know, so I think it was successful, but it wasn't like a massive hit. I forget how, you know, and then a few years later, J.J. Abrams ran across a script that they decided to adapt into Cloverfield Lane. But that wasn't originally a Cloverfield script. They just they were like, oh, the bones are there. We'll just add this and we'll make it a Cloverfield movie. And then they had the next script. I can't remember the name of. Oh, the Cloverfield Paradox, which a lot of people hated. I actually really enjoyed it. I don't know what people hated about it.
Was that the one that was on Netflix?
It went straight to Netflix. It was announced. People knew it was coming out, but they announced on the Super Bowl. They had a commercial that it was now on Netflix like immediately.
Yeah, I didn't watch that one yet. I have heard good things about it. A lot of people that I've talked to said it was a good film.
Oh, well, that's rare. Most of the people like just bashed it. It's a little overly complicated. The Cloverfield connection feels a little shoehorned in, just like, you know, it wasn't Cloverfield Lane. But either way, the movie was not considered a success, even by Netflix standards, from what I understand.
Wow. Okay.
So around that time, they'd also discussed that Overlord was coming out and that it was supposed to be a Cloverfield connected film that took place during World War II. And so basically implying that what's going on with Cloverfield doesn't take place just across multiple universes, but it takes place across multiple timelines. But I think I had heard that they cut it out of the Cloverfield stuff. So it's a movie that you would not expect me to want to see. And I don't know whether I will see it or not, but it is a movie that I have an interest in just because I'm curious how it connects. Because Cloverfield's one of these franchises that I'm not so much interested in the story. Like, I don't necessarily think they're the greatest films, but I am interested in them, sort of their mythology, because the marketing on Cloverfield has been insane. Like they have all these alternate reality game, or not alternate, augmented reality games that if you're really into like internet stuff, you know about, and if you're not, you might have missed. But you can actually look it up on YouTube. There's whole videos about all the Cloverfield conspiracy stuff that the websites and the games and stuff like that. Yeah, there was a
I had no idea about all this.
There was a truck, like a food truck, that the producers of Cloverfield or their marketing company or whatever had going around the country selling slushies, essentially. Slushio is a fictional company in the Cloverfield universe, and there were like all these clues about how things relate to the Cloverfield universe. You got to look. I can't pretend to explain it. It's very, very complicated, but it's just one of those things. Like just like perfect example, Five Nights at Freddy. I have no interest in playing that at all, but the mythology and all the background stuff and all the puzzles that aren't directly in the game that you have to kind of put together, that's the stuff that interests me. So
I agree with you on the Five Nights at Freddy for sure, because I have no interest of going back and playing all those games, but I think it's a cool mythology, like you said, about everything, and I like to learn about it.
Oh, you can spend literally hours watching people's theories on the timeline and what is actually happening in the story.
So crazy.
Because they don't give you like a direct version of the story in those games. They give you like just little bits and pieces of things that don't make sense until you go back and you write everything down. And it's not just the games. They also have like a Five Nights at Freddy survival guide workbook.
Really?
Yeah. And then there's 2 novels that the guy wrote.
Wow.
No, 3. There's 3 novels that he wrote that also tell pieces of the story.
It's pretty fucking crazy.
But it's not completely you have to kind of figure out how they fit into the universe. They do. So it's really like weird and complicated. So, but I'll be interested to see if Overlord ties into the rest of the Cloverfield universe.
In some way or another.
So.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. Like I said, that's one of the films I want to see. I saw the previews for it. I had no idea it was supposed to be some part of that at all.
Well, like I said, you wouldn't know unless you were looking into this sort of thing, and I don't even remember how I came across it, to be honest with you. I tend to dive into pretty deep YouTube rabbit holes.
Yeah, we kind of do the same thing, man. It's like if I'm watching one, and all of a sudden, oh look, here's something you might like. Oh fuck! And now I'm like 16 fucking videos in, and I'm going, what the fuck am I watching? Or why am I watching this?
Excuse me. So, anything else that you wanted to discuss?
No, man. I mean, I don't have any other things besides I want everybody to show up Saturday at the gas station bar and grill in Metairie for our 500 episode.
Well, definitely. Well, then I guess it's time for me to announce that I am leaving the show.
Yeah. So, which sucks, but I know you have your reasons, and that's cool. I understand.
So if for no other reason, then you'll never hear from me again. Come on out to episode 500, which is my actual last show. It does kind of sadden me. Rum wasn't able to be on this episode, and I was like, oh, so I guess we had our last episode together and didn't know it.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, because Rum is not going to be able to be on this weekend. So, yeah. So, last week.
It's unfortunate. That is my great regret about episode 500 is, I mean, I don't know. I talked about trying to Skype him in for a few minutes, and if I can figure out a way to make that work, totally will. But I don't know. It's not something we've done before, and
I don't know. It may be possible a bit, but we don't know yet. We're trying to. It all depends on the fucking setup at that place once we get there.
So yeah, well, it's been quite a run.
Yes, almost 7 years.
So yeah, come on out to episode 500 and
come out, come shake this man's hand and tell him thank you for 500 fucking great episodes of a show.
Come touch my dick.
Okay, come touch his dick. Whatever.
It'll be there.
Looking for attention.
There'll be a spotlight on it.
Oh shit! I will make sure that someone puts a spotlight on your dick.
No, I've seen the lighting situation. I'm serious. There's going to be a spotlight.
Oh, there will be. Oh, okay, great. That's even better. So I don't even have to fucking put the.
Well, I mean, somebody's got to turn the lights on. It's not going to happen on its own, but you know.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what I mean. I mean, I'm not going to have to sit there and go, "Hey, motherfuckers, you forgot to light his dick."
I mean, maybe they will.
No one's going to forget to light your dick, man.
A few people have.
Well, man, this has been a sad fucking show, dude. We started off with sad shit. Now we ended with sad shit. This is terrible.
I mean, I blame Billy Pond.
Ah, fucking Billy. Come on, man.
Why'd you have to get cancer, Billy?
Right?
Can't you think about, you know, the millions of people who don't listen to this show? So selfish.
Always.
In any case, so the dogs are barking, so it's definitely time to.
Yeah. But again, dude, you know how I feel. I hate losing you. I know you got to do what you got to do, but it's just, to me personally, it sucks. But you know, I love you, and I respect your decision, and I'm glad we had all this time on the show together. Anyway, without you being there at the beginning, we wouldn't have fucking started this without you asking me to do a fucking podcast. So
I guess technically I asked you to guest host a podcast. I didn't ask you to do this.
Yeah, you asked me to get on the BSI comics to review Avengers, and that was the first time I've ever done anything like that.
So that was 2010?
Yeah.
2009? No, wait, couldn't have been 2010.
2012. Probably 11.
No, I think it was 2012.
Was it? Okay. I don't remember. I have to look back.
Hey Siri, when was the Avengers movie?
Sorry, I don't see any movies matching the Avengers playing nearby.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, fuck it. Fucking Siri's dumb.
Anyway.
But yeah, it's a long time, man. And it was fun. Good stuff. But like I said, I respect your decision, man. That's all on you, whatever you want to do. And you're always welcome to come back here. You know that. Always. There's never, ever, ever not going to be a time where you'll be like, hey, man, I want to come back. Okay, fuck it. Come on. So it's up to you.
What if I develop a particularly infectious case of herpes?
It would be no different.
Wayne?
Sir?
I have a particularly infectious case of herpes.
I knew it! Fucking knew it! Oh, shit.
So, without further ado, I've been Adam.
And I've been Wayne. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to keep it herpes.
That was anticlimactic.
I'm sorry. I don't want to scream because the microphone, I'm using the big mic. And when I use the big mic, if I scream, it bubbles out, so I can't use it.
Okay, well, keep it metal.
Metal!
so mad.